What's up, everyone? Been a while since I made a video, but I started watching the George Floyd trial, these highlights. I actually had watched the entire George Zimmerman trial because I'm a total nerd like that. I didn't think he was guilty of murder in the legal sense or whatever other charges they threw at him. That seems to be the biggest case recently before this one, although there are a lot of large ones. And I'm not someone who has a strong opinion about guilt or innocence like a lot of people do. I believe people have politicized their opinion based on politics or kind of jumping to conclusions based on their biases. But I think this officer Chauvin is definitely guilty of at least causing or contributing to the death of Floyd. Whether I think murder is a hard case, but when you actually look at what happened, he clearly contributed to it. Another is the question of his health, his underlying health condition, and the fact that he took opioids, which potentially were at a lethal level or could have contributed to his death. But how does this death happen as these officers were sitting on top of him? You know what I mean? It's like if you were to get into a fight with somebody, you punch them, knock them down. That's over an extreme shorter period of time. 10 minutes is much longer, but actually a relatively short period of time. And someone dies when you have a physical altercation with them. How can you, it's hard to make the case that you didn't cause their death, you know what I mean? So, I don't know, that's what I think so far, but I would rely on the medical experts, what they're going to say, because there's a lot of nuance to what exactly happened and what exactly caused his death. So I think it's going to be really important. Because you kind of have a Black Lives Matter sympathizing folks that say, he killed him intentionally. It's outright murder. I don't think that. There's the people that think George Floyd is a dirtbag and he killed himself with drugs. I don't think that's the right take either. Unless they can show that he swallowed like a suicidal amount of methanol or opium or whatever the hell he had. Maybe it was both. Unless they can show that he swallowed a lethal dose right as the cops were coming, because I know he swallowed something. I don't know how you can say sitting on him for 10 minutes didn't contribute to that. But like I say, I don't have a strong opinion one way or the other. I want to see what the experts are going to say. I was going to watch this trial because I watched the Zimmerman trial. It took so much time. I have this exchange between... Now think about this. You had citizens coming and lecturing the cops, and you had a city employee who's a fireman, who's trained in these areas, CPR and health, and she actually comes up to the cops on the scene and lectures them that they're doing their job wrong. So, I mean, how often does that happen? Where the cops are so out of line, another city employee comes and lectures them and then testifies against you. So, I mean, I think it's pretty compelling. But I'm just more entertained by this scene right here, which I'll play.
You don't want to look at your transcript, but may I approach the witness? Ms. Hanson,
I want to see more of this type of action in this trial.
Page 11 of 28. I'm just going to ask you to read the underlined portions in your head.
Yeah.
Does that refresh your recollection of this conversation?
Yeah.
Did you describe Mr. Floyd as a small, slim man?
Overruled.
Yeah, it appeared to, with 3 grown men on top of somebody, it appeared that he was small and frail.
Okay.
But I know that not to be
there's
true,
no question.
obviously. I was finishing my answer.
Please go back into the courtroom. Counsel remain. Witness remain. Be seated. We're outside the hearing of the jury. Ms. Hanson, I'm advising you, do not argue with counsel, and specifically, do not argue with the court.
Is the cameras off? Are the cameras off?
No, they are not. We are on the record.
Okay.
You will not argue with the court. You will not argue with counsel. Mm-hmm. They have the right to ask questions. Your job is to answer them.
I was finishing my answer.
I will determine when your answer is done.
Okay, well...
And so, do not argue with the court. Do not argue with counsel. Answer the questions. Do not volunteer information that is not requested. The attorneys for the state have redirect. They can ask you questions if they think that certain things were left out.
Okay.
It is counsel's prerogative to ask you leading questions and for you to answer those and not volunteer additional information.
Okay.
Are we clear on this?
We're clear.
Thank you. Come back tomorrow at 9:30.
All right. Good night.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel.
Making a big deal over this, like, oh my God, the prosecution blew up their case. I don't think that at all, but I just thought it was interesting. It's indicative of the tension in this case because these witnesses that, even her, who's a city employee, I mean, they're biased in the sense that I think they think these cops are guilty. Or acted inappropriately. So they're not just witnesses that kind of saw something matter of fact and are reporting what they saw. Like they actually have an emotional stake. So that's what kind of makes it interesting. Anyway, it'll be interesting to see how this case plays out. And I know I'm not the only one who's interested.